what's your interaction with it growing up before I ramble?
With the Satanic Panic in particular.
Yeah, did you have any interaction with it? Were you prohibited or inspired to go listen to certain music because it had that sticker on it? Because that was all
Uh,
the parental advisory, it was all
yeah,
derived from that.
parental advisory stickers. Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
yeah, yeah. You know what I mean?
my biggest interaction with the Satanic Panic was
Mm.
regards Dungeons and Dragons.
Okay, that makes sense. Yep.
Um, so we had it killed at our school because of the Satanic Panic, and there was that
Seriously. Okay.
friend of mine heard about this person that was playing, and they committed suicide because their character died. And that particular story can be traced directly back to a guy called Jack Chick. Now, Jack Chick did a range of what they called Chick tracts, and they're basically little cartoon books about
Uh-huh.
yay big,
Yeah, yeah.
and they were religious tracts, and they were on various themes. And one of them was about a girl who's at late high school, early university, and she joins a D&D group. And then when she gets to level 5, they're going to teach her the real magic. And one of her friends is
Hmm.
in the game, and her character dies in the game, and then she's out of the game, but she can't live without the character, so she commits suicide. And then at the end, the other person comes back to God.
Okay.
Um, but that's where
Okay.
that urban myth kind of came from.
Okay. Because that
So a lot
spread
of
to
the
America. That spread to, Stranger
it,
Things.
it was all over the world. It was
Yeah, yeah,
literally over.
yeah.
I used to have a copy of it. I wish I did. Wish I still had it. However, a little bit of positivity that came out of that tract is a few
Mm.
years back, makers won a small lottery win, like $2,000 US or something like that. And they found out that they could option the rights to a chick tract for about that amount of money. So
Okay.
they optioned the
Okay.
Dungeons and Dragons tract, and they made a film called Dark Dungeons. Now, they're
Okay.
not religious in any way. The film is really good as a standalone, but it is also a really, really subtle fuck you to Jack Chick, who
Hmm.
was a religious fundamentalist.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
So
Yes, it's
yeah,
all
people
making
out there, if you like
sense.
Dungeons and Dragons, look for Dark Dungeons. I believe it's available on YouTube. I followed it. I think I got a copy of it off like their Kickstarter or something like that. So yeah.
Wow, that's yeah, great answer. Cool story.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I'm slowly setting up here as well.
All right, so
Um,
good.
yeah, I had the parental advisory stickers, definitely being a fan of heavy metal and hip hop. They were slapped both onto those. There's it's what's his name? From Twisted Sister.
B. Snyder.
Thank you. I had D Wallace in my head.
Um,
Yeah.
keep talking. I'll be back in a sec.
Hmm. Yeah, D. Snyder, when he went up against the censorship board, whatever it was called back then in America, the speech that he gave was eloquent, well written, to the point, airtight in terms of its rebuttal and its own argument. And he came dressed like he was about to go onto stage and rock out. Yeah. So, of course, when he walked in, they had assumptions about him. Ah, very nice. Very nice. Yeah. That's a classic moment for us.
Mm.
Um, you know what I mean, children. Uh, and was there someone else? Can't remember. That's definitely a salient moment, though. That's definitely a salient moment. Okay, so what image
So,
for?
so just for those people, this sleeve for the
Please.
record still has a little bit of the parental guidance sticker on the back of it there.
Very nice. Very
So
nice.
it would have been sealed so you couldn't play it in the record shop. Back in the day in record shops, people, you would go in and they would have a record player with a set of headphones, and you could actually sample some of the music in the shop by sitting there and working out whether you wanted to listen to the record or not.
Yeah, and if you don't know what we're talking about in general, basically in the early 80s, yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah.
Um, I forget the name of the board. Let's just call them the censorship board.
Yeah.
Typical. wife of Al Gore. She was definitely involved,
Yep.
and there was another key person I forget the name of. And anything like Dungeons and Dragons, heavy metal, hip hop, punk, anything kind of countercultural and that wasn't considered conservative, i.e., Christian mainstream, was considered the tools of the devil sent to manipulate the children. Yeah. And lead us into the
Yeah.
next apocalypse. I'm being a little, exaggerated with my words here, but that was their general thoughts and intentions. Am I wrong, Baron?
No, you're not wrong at all. At all.
Mm.
Um, so I believe they called it the Filthy 15. I'm just doing a quick Google on it now.
Okay.
So yeah, the Filthy 15, censorship, gore, and the parental advisory sticker. Um, so declared obscene. Uh, PG kids and next rated series. Uh, Prince, Sheena Easton, Judas Priest, Vanity, Motley Crue, AC/DC, Twisted Sister, Madonna, Wasp, Def Leppard, Merciful Fate, Black Sabbath, Mary Jane Girls, Venom, and Cyndi Lauper.
Cyndi Lauper.
Yeah. Admittedly, she's 15th. Maybe they were just stretching to get to 15.
Yeah, okay. Girls just want to have fun, though. What's wrong with Cyndi
Yeah.
Lauper? I think she's Roman Catholic because she's
She is.
quite Italian. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
What? What? And her music's innocent. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not, and that's not being derogatory. Cindy rules. She's legend, iconic, etc.
Yeah. So Tipper Gore was part of the Parental Music Resource Center.
Yeah, that title.
Now, you may be wondering
Mm,
why we're talking about this, but it does really lead into this film. Like this film is certainly centered
mm.
around this whole deal.
A definitive layer is of that, absolutely. Yeah, certainly the way that it's initially framed for its time.
Yeah.
Uh, all right. With that though, spoilers. Late Night with the Devil's now available
Yeah.
on Shudder in Australia. Yeah, if you don't
Yes.
have Shudder and you're watching this, it's only $8-9. Go do it. Support horror.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Welcome back. uh, question. Bohemian Grove in 2024. Now,
Yeah.
most people, again, listening, watching to this, thank you, know what this is or have seen the footage by Alex Jones on YouTube. Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you seen that?
Yes.
Okay. Um, okay. So if you don't know, just quickly, what is Bohemian Grove, Baron? If you don't
Let
mind,
me
yeah,
let me get it right.
it's
Uh,
a cabal.
yeah, well in this film they what do they call it, the tall trees, I think, in the film. So it's like a gentleman's
It's
club piece of
no,
land.
no, it's referred to as the Grove, but it's
Yeah, yeah,
within
yeah.
the
Oh,
it's
sorry, in
within
the
the
film.
tall trees. Yeah, yeah.
So
This
there's a like it's a men's shed for weirdos.
of powerful weirdos.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And what they do is it's the whole because there's a lot of conspiracy that is relevant to this day because for the past, I don't know, decade now, we've lived in a new age of conspiracy and putting
yeah,
out a movie in 2023, certainly a horror film. A lot of us are going to know or be familiar to what's being referenced here in terms of the conspiracy of Bohemian Grove. Do you reckon that was
yeah,
a wise choice? I think it kind of is because it
yeah,
connects the now to then. Yeah.
yeah, 100%.
Um, and even the kids on TikTok would know about this. I don't know
Oh,
if
of
I sound
course.
old, but I think, yeah, it's a way to garner that general audience. Yeah, I think because we are looking at about 50 years, coming on near 50 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um, oh no, 60, close to 60.
good dodge.
I think it was
For
late
this,
60.
okay, I know what you're doing. Yeah, I know what you're doing. For this, and when is this set? This is late 70s.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're about
Late,
halfway through there.
yeah, late 70s, not quite the early 80s because
Mhm.
Reagan
It's
didn't come in.
1977. What am I saying? It's Halloween 1977.
Oh, it is too. It says it in the
Yeah,
film.
yeah.
You're right. It does.
Yeah. So it's as old as it's a few months. Yeah. I'm a few months older than this. Yeah,
Yeah.
I was kind of still in nappies when this happened in a
I
very
was in
ghost watch
second
fashion.
grade. Yeah, I think it
Okay.
was in second grade.
Second grade. Yeah, okay, there you go. There you go. Yes, that's how old we are there, children. Okay. But did it add to the enjoyment of this film being set back then and using tools of now to create back then?
I think it made it better. Yes, I think this would have been a very different film where it's set now.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I think that framework of interest in the occult and the reaction to that of the satanic panic, I'm talking all culture, sub nerd general
Yeah,
all culture, that this affected and still affects to this day. I mean, look at
yeah,
YouTube. Look at YouTube. If
yeah.
we ever get monetized, I'm certainly going to have to zip my lip on a few words I like to say. Yeah,
Look, but all of us are.
yeah, yeah, and yeah. Considering what just happened last night, but that's another podcast.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Shall we tell them in detail, give them a little framework, a paradigm of what we're actually discussing here, Baron?
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, yeah. Late Night with the Devil. It's an Australian horror. I'm claiming it. Yeah, it's an American Arab Emirates,
Yep.
co-production. But it was
Yep.
filmed
But
in
it's made.
Adelaide. Yeah, but it was filmed in Adelaide or
I,
Melbourne. Yeah, Adelaide,
oh
yeah. Or
no, I
maybe it
think it was
says,
my friend Rick Brown is in it. He's from Melbourne.
okay, we'll go with that. We'll go with that. Yeah. And is it David? Okay.
Desmalchin.
It's Melchin, not Melskian, because I've heard
Yeah,
both.
Desmalchin.
It's Des,
Desmalchin.
Des Melchin. Yeah. Okay. Moving forward, that's how we should pronounce his name. And I'm pretty sure he was saying it that way when I was listening to the interview on the last podcast on the left. Do you know much about this guy, our lead actor, who's finally been given a decent lead role in this film?
Yeah, I've been
David
following him for a
Desmalchin.
while. For those people out there that are a fan of the old MacGyver TV series, in the
Oh
old series,
shit. Okay.
no, he wasn't in that. He's in the new one.
Because
He
we'd
had
have to be young.
his Moriarty to
Okay.
MacGyver's Holmes was
Yeah,
a
he
character
played
called Murdoch.
Moriarty. Yeah. Murdoch, yeah. He played
And
Murdoch,
Murdoch
yeah.
was his Moriarty. So in the
I'm
modern
with, I'm
series,
with him.
David Dismalchin plays Murdoch to the modern MacGyver.
How does he go
Uh,
as Murdoch? Because I grew up
it's
liking Murdoch as a kid.
it's really, really good. And they even got Michael Despars in, who was the actor that played Murdoch from the original series, to give it his stamp of approval. And he certainly gave it his stamp of approval.
Okay. Okay. That's actually one of the first villains I liked on the screen. Yeah.
Yeah.
Growing up young, definitely. He was cool.
Um,
Okay.
He's also a comics writer. He's got a series called Count Crowley, which I collect through Dark Horse. They're very good.
I want to have a
Um,
read of that.
he's
Absolutely.
been in DC Comics movies. He was in a Batman film. He was in a Suicide Squad
It was, yeah.
film.
He was in Dark Knight and he was Polka Dot Man.
He was Polka Dot Man,
Yes.
yes.
And Polka Dot Man was fantastic. And I'm also a big fan of the Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
It's probably my favorite comic book film because it's not particularly my genre, but that one was just like I was like, well, this is just wonderful.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is just glorious. Yeah. If you're ever a bit curious and you're not a comic book fan, definitely watch that one though.
Yeah.
James Gunn does know what he's doing. James Gunn does know what he's doing.
Yes.
Yeah, no, and he's really cool. I've seen him on a couple of interviews now. There's with like last podcast on the left, and there's also right now with John Goblikon from Necro Goblikon. Yeah. Him with Leah Kilpatrick, who's an actor, comic book creator, let's say, dark artist in her own right, because this is a classic spooky guy of our own times. Henry Zabrowski from last podcast said he's the modern day Lon Chaney. Do you
Oh
agree with
yeah,
that? I think
yeah,
so. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Because I'm not going to say he's not goth, but he's
No,
goth.
he can play golf.
Yeah. He's one of my favorites. He's becoming one of my favorites. Absolutely. Just people working in horror. Absolutely.
Yeah,
This guy. Yeah. Because he's horror at heart. Yeah. He grew up watching all the Universal Monster movies, the Hammer horror
yeah,
movies. And he also grew up watching horror hosts like Svengoolie. He
yeah.
even does
Who
a
he plays
little,
in a film.
say that again.
So he's in a Svengoolie film or a TV series. He plays a character called Dr. Fearless. Um, I don't think it's come out here yet, and I think there's only been one episode launched. But yeah, Svengoolie TV series. You might want to look it up.
Fantastic, fantastic. He does a little physical shout out to Svengoolie in the film. I won't point it out. I'll leave it. If, yeah,
Oh yeah,
yeah, yeah. Just in case you missed it, and you have to do a little
yeah,
research. It's worth doing. That's where he got a lot of inspiration to play the host of a late night TV show.
yeah,
It's centered around him, and I would argue Lily, but we'll get to that. But at the start,
yeah,
certainly, it's introduced through him. It's not a cold opening; it's exposition galore. There's information galore through this because it's a found footage meets a documentary. This has
yeah,
been marketed as a found footage film. It's not a straight up found footage film. That's, I think, maybe
yeah,
turns some people off. That's the
yeah,
problem with film marketing today, which we've discussed
yeah.
before. But yeah, it's one of those examples.
I,
Um,
I would say though, just very quickly, just while it's still at the top of my
please.
head, have interacted with David Dismalchian precisely once. Um, when they were starting to put out Count Crowley Midnight Monster Hunter, he
Okay.
had a
Okay.
competition for people to send in from their house, got a costume made over the course of an hour. You weren't allowed to go out and do it. Your horror host character, you had to come up with a name and a look. And if you were one of the, I think five people picked or something like that, he would send you some trading cards with one of them autographed. And the Baron is one of the ones that got through. And the Baron was wearing a hat and a skull mask and stuff.
Uh,
So yeah, he really liked it and sent me a autographed trading card.
yeah, no, he seems like an absolute sweetheart from the interviews I've listened to and watched. Yeah, no, he's very indicative of not only just people in the horror community and culture, certainly in the the creator bracket.
Mm.
Um, he's a very good person, but just a very good person in general, definitely. And I do appreciate that he's gone through some struggles and such, and he's very open about that and gives really good advice about that as well out there, children. No, he is a gem. I think he does really well in this. I'm glad that they gave it to him a lead role. And I think we're going to see this guy around for a while, definitely in more prominent featured roles in our movies, which is great.
Yeah.
Because I think we're going to see a lot more horror movies coming.
Yeah, oh,
But
for sure. For sure.
yeah. Um, now,
For,
he
for
was
those
watching
people that
horror
are
hosts.
Oh,
Sorry,
sorry, I was going
after
to
you,
say,
Baron.
for those people that are interested, he's one of the people that's played the most individual roles in DC Comics products. So he has played Polka Dot Man, Calendar Man, Abracadabra, and there's one and Cop in the Dark Knight. So yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
he he's in a lot of that stuff. So yeah,
yeah,
sorry, I broke
yeah.
it. You go.
That's okay. All good. And also, just before we finish off on that, Mr. Midnight, is that a comic book graphic novel reference?
I
Or,
don't
yeah,
think so.
okay. You know what I mean as
No,
pertains to the film, yeah.
I think that was more of a reference to the fact that he was on at midnight, and it might have been a bit of a neg.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Okay, okay, okay. I was just, no, no, I got that in the film. I was just wondering if there was a bit of metatextual thing going on,
No, I
being
don't
the
think so.
comic book dude that he is. Yeah, yeah. Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
no, I don't think so.
Um, he also watched all of the talk show hosts to prepare. Yeah, all the late night TV shows going
That
right
really
back
came
to
through.
Uh, what's his name? What's his name? He did David Letterman. It starts with Johnny Carson. Who's a modern example? Jimmy Kimmel.
Jimmy Kimmel, Conan O'Brien.
Yeah, all that stuff. And he watched it all. Now, do we need to explain?
I don't think so. I think people know
No.
what a host
Yeah.
is.
They know what they know Kimmel and Brian, even if they don't watch that, they know that it's out there, definitely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Johnny Carson is the example that he probably focused the most on, yes.
Yep. Probably
Uh
the closest.
because it's the closest to the time setting of this film. Johnny Carson
Yep.
was he the first to do it? Um
Uh, I think there might have been one before him.
yeah. Uh, he was extremely popular. Yeah, no, he was extremely popular because once upon a time, if you don't know children, this you might not know, these shows were everything on television, even though they were late at night. Yeah, David Letterman, I grew up with. You were probably the same there, Baron. He was our
Yeah.
example of our generation. Yeah,
Yeah.
which is referenced in this film. There's a Madonna reference, a Madonna interview reference.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. Um, so he watched all of that. Do you think he pulled it off?
Yes.
Yeah,
100%.
yeah, it's great,
Um,
isn't it? Yeah.
really felt like we were watching a late night show.
Hmm. Hmm. And he embodied the host. It felt lived in, yeah, because
Yeah.
he goes through a lot.
It felt
This
like a character.
character,
Like
yeah,
you could see his mask change between the on
yeah,
screen and
yeah. How
then
good
the
was that?
documentary footage.
How good was that? Yeah, how good was
Yeah, it was
that?
really
Yeah,
good.
because he makes you like him, and then there's those little moments. Yeah, yeah. No, he's
So
really good.
Johnny Carson was probably after Ed Sullivan. There's like a Joey Bishop and a Jack Parr,
Hmm.
but Johnny Carson,
Hmm.
I think, was the first of the super famous ones, the ones that were famous outside America.
Ed Sullivan was big as well. I
Well, because they named the
think
theater.
Yeah, yeah. But I think we gave an O because he was the Beatles guy as well. So if we gave the crown to the OG, it would be him. But Johnny Carson was huge, two
Yeah.
decades, 20 years, he invented the whole thing. Did he invent the whole thing of sitting on the couch? Anyway, this isn't about those TV shows. Um, what did you think of the found footage meets documentary style in which this is approached?
It didn't take me out of the film.
No.
I was worried that it would cause like a cognitive dissonance when it was switching between the two. Um, but the only
Hmm.
time it even came close to that was the first time, and then that all that basically did in my head was, oh, so this is the format. When we're on screen, it's Technicolor. When we're off screen, it's black and
Yeah,
white.
yeah,
Brilliant.
yeah.
The choice to do that made so much sense, and it gave you that difference between the worlds, the on-screen world and the off-screen world, which delineates the parts of the film. And they used it really well in the editing. They used it really well in terms of the act
Mhm.
structure as well.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I agree. I agree. And the way, yeah, so found footage is used as an aspect and a stylistic device. It is not a genre label or entire framing structure for the whole thing. No. So when it goes into widescreen from the 4.1, yeah, aspect ratio of television, 4.1 or 3, can't quite remember, doesn't matter. Um, yeah, no, it's seamless. It's seamless. And when you know that you are watching a meeting of the two, now, where
Yeah.
the two styles, you're fine. Now, the confusing factor is everyone thought this was a found footage film, but that is also part of the story world of this film. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Because this is a struggling TV show, a struggling TV host, to put it lightly, and he needs to keep his TV show alive. He's always number two to Johnny Carson. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he wants to be number one. Now, to get there, he possibly, yeah, does questionable things to get there.
He certainly
And
goes out to the comfort zone.
but not to get sidetracked. This is the found tape of this last night at October 31st, Halloween,
Yep.
1977. His last ditch effort to beat Johnny Carson and keep his show and his life
Yeah.
on the air, so to speak. Yeah, to keep it going. And so he has set up a late night with the devil. He's going to talk to a girl who has gone through and can still conjure up demonic possession.
Yes.
Yeah, is that
She
is
was
that
really good too.
Lily was great. Does that sum
Yeah.
it up pretty much what we're watching before we go in?
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
I would say that sums it up exactly.
Yeah, cool. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. All right. General thoughts and feelings. Did you like the film?
I enjoyed it. I thought it was a good film. Like I said, I think it's not a cinema film. I think it's more of a TV film. But
Yeah,
because it's a
streamer.
TV,
Yeah. Sorry.
um,
Go, go.
no, you're right. So because it's set as TV, it works better as TV than cinema. So people are not going to lose anything in the translation from the big screen to the small screen. I don't regret seeing it on the big screen, but I think I had a better time when I watched it on my TV. Yeah, but I mean, the charisma that David Desmalchian oozes through the screen is just huge.
Mm. Almost to the detriment of the character, but he's good enough to pull it off. He's good enough to
Yeah,
not cross the line. Yeah, David
yeah,
Desmalchian. Yeah, no.
yeah. Well,
Yeah,
it doesn't become a caricature.
no, no. You do feel for him all said and told by the end, even though the end, whew. And we'll get to the ending. Hmm. Lovely. Okay. Yeah. Listeners, what did you just hold up there, Baron?
So this is the autograph card from David
Yeah.
Desmalchian
Yeah.
from the
Could you, yeah. Could you throw that on Instagram?
yeah, no reason why I couldn't
Yeah, cool. Thank you. Thank you.
do it
Uh,
now. Do it live so people know when we've done this.
yeah, and I will read through cast and such production information. Okay, so this is another Australian siblings offering output film. Cameron Cairnes and Colin Cairnes. I'm pretty sure you
Oh,
pronounce it like, yeah, the cap, uh, the capital of far north Queensland, and it's written by them as well. All right, so yeah, we've got Des Melchian and we have Laura Gordon and Ian Bliss. I don't know. We'll hold off. They're the stars, so it says, but we'll get to the cast now properly. So yeah, David Desmalchian plays Jack Dowry. That's our host. We have Laura Gordon, who plays June Ross Mitchell. She's an interesting character. We have Carmichael Haig. Yes, played by Ian Bliss.
he's
We
really
have
good.
Christou, Faisal Baziz, pronunciation, I'm sorry. Lily is played by Ingrid Torelli, my second favorite character performance. Yeah. And Gus is played by Risa Turi. Gus has a last name, apparently, Gus McConnell. Okay, so yeah, we'll mention anyone else as we go along. Okay, so yeah, it's shot in Adelaide in South Australia. Came
Oh,
out
what's
last came out last year. Sorry, just getting to the info here. Shot by Matthew Temple, music by Glenn Richards, Roscoe James Irwin. Okay, so we have a lot of title cards at the start of the movie. I'm sure you noticed there, Baron. ID,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Lots of production companies.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Did you know that Good Fiend is David's?
Oh, no, I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
that very Tim Burton-esque animation. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
they've put on the They Live glasses and it flipped all spooky.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I liked it. I liked it. That's his. Yeah.
Okay.
It was released at Southwest by Southwest, 23rd of March, 2024. It's 95 minutes. I'm just having a look at our box office of 15 million, 2.5 to 2 million away from Terrifier 2.
Oh.
What was its budget? Doesn't say it right there. That's annoying.
I didn't see it when I did my look.
Hmm. It's not a
Uh,
big budget film. This is an
no, no.
independent, yeah, feature. That's why it has 15 ID cards at the start. Yeah,
Yeah.
production titles. which is all good, because a lot of them are, because yeah, the spooky pictures, a lot of them are horror, if
Yeah.
not based, certainly leaning.
So, so the
I've,
the
sorry,
rumors are that's okay. The
yeah,
rumors are that the budget was less than 2 million, but there's no actual official budget been released.
that's not far off Terrified 2 stats on either end at all
Yeah.
then. So that's very cool. It did really well for IFC films,
Hmm.
similar to The Substance for Mubi,
Hmm.
and of course Long Legs for Neon.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah. But there's a very mixed response. I haven't looked at Letterbox for this or anything, but there's a very mixed response to this film.
Yep.
Um, yeah, actually, I haven't looked at the ratings for this because I liked it. I liked it a lot. It's a shame I didn't see it at the cinema because I always like to, see these things at the cinema, but it definitely
Yeah.
works at home. Even if you've got a decent enough computer monitor screen, which is what I utilize. And yeah, no, it's good. Um, Definitely a good streaming movie. One of the best of the year so far, in my opinion. Definitely in my top five. I'm
Yep.
definitely a fan of this film.
I agree.
Uh, yeah, cool. Okay, are we ready for the plot?
Sure. Oh, spoilers. Go and watch the film and come back, children.
Now's your last chance.
Yeah, yeah. And you're back.
Mhm. All right. The film's prologue is framed as a documentary investigating an unexplained event that occurred on the night of Halloween 1977. We are at the beginning of November now. Spooky season's gone. It was fun. Thank you, children, for participating.
Yes.
During the live broadcast of a six-season episode of the successful variety late-night talk show Night Owls,
Hmm.
with Jack Delroy, which competes for ratings with The Tonight Show starring Johnny Carson. Yeah, it just reminded me. I mean, we would be remiss to not mention it, even if just briefly. This film got in a bit of trouble, yeah?
Yeah.
Mm, mm. Used some AI just when AI was pretty much the new AI as we know it now, which
Yeah.
is burgeoning. Right at the start of things as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wasn't the best move politically.
Yes.
Yeah.
It wasn't seen in a good light.
No, it wasn't seen in a good light. Yeah. It was for a few images, and I think the Night Owl sliding door is AI. I'm not sure. Um, yeah, we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. I'm not here to really cast an opinion on that because it's been discussed ad nauseum up until this point, up until now. Um, Use it as a tool. Don't get carried away, certainly when it comes to people's jobs.
Yeah.
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 Okay, cool. All right. Through his celebrity connections, Night Owl's host Jack Delroy, who is based in New York City. This film is very New York, very 70s New York,
Yep.
strong 70s aesthetic to the production style of the television production itself and the costumes and the hairstyles and very 70s. Now, Jack makes regular visits to the Grove. That's the Bohemian Grove. Yeah. So that's where
Yes.
all the powerful political men, yes, and it's rumored people like George Bush, Obama, Epstein, of course, all go to Bohemian Grove and they pray to a giant owl named Moloch. They don't actually know what they're talking about. For those that do, they just patchwork all this shit, and they play act sacrificing an initiate, sorry, an initiate.
Yeah.
Uh, but the conspiracy theorists, of course, say this is, children. It's all tied into all that. And it exists in this day with things like Pizzagate, QAnon. They're the very contemporary, uh,
Mhm.
you know, to this day comparisons. So yeah, Bohemian Grove, an elite California camp for wealthy and powerful men. After his wife Madeline dies of cancer, Night Owls halts its production. She dies of lung cancer and she never smokes. This is reiterated in the film quite a few times. Just getting to my notes here because I wanted to point out some framing devices that are used. Abraxas, nasty demon. He's seen in the television screen in the static at the start of the film because after the ID cards, after the production titles, it goes into an old school, cathode ray 70s TV. Did you see the
Yep.
face?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
And it's
yeah.
again at the end too.
It's at the end as well. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
used as a framing device. And you think of all the way that stylistically Abraxas infests reality through the actual mode of television itself. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. It's a nice framing device. Yeah. It's very form
It is.
based. It's very
I
stylistic,
like
but it's
it.
cool. Yeah. Yeah. Signing contract. Why did you have to sacrifice to get here tonight? That's also at the beginning and at the end as well. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, cool. And then with Bohemian Grove was the next one. And my next note is theremin, but we're not quite up to the theremin yet.
No.
Okay. Yeah, she's died of cancer, lung cancer, has never smoked. So Night Owls naturally halts its production. Yeah, he takes some time off. Yeah. And
Yeah.
before this, he starts to break down a little and they start to cause controversy because the guy who is basically the stage manager or the showrunner, he's a stand-up comedian, I forget his name. He's just ruthless. He'll just have the show go on no matter what happens to people, no matter, let alone how they're seen by the general public. He's arm wrestling black midgets. Yeah. At this stage in the 70s. Yeah. The dialogue, the humor is very 70s based. It's very good, acceptable for television, jocular misogyny. Yeah, you know what I mean with the humor in the show. It's very 70s. They really did well
Yeah.
to capture all of that. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, he does start to crumble. He's wrestling, and there is the Madonna reference. Was the punk rock chick said, "I used to be the fucking man, Jack."
Yeah.
That's Madonna with David Letterman.
Yes.
Letterman. She used to be, I don't know, kind of cool, and there's lots of other swearing stuff that was censored off YouTube, so I can't actually see what was actually said. But yeah, so it's referencing that. And then, yeah, he starts to break down. Then his wife dies and he takes some time off. But he ultimately returns. And in order to boost the show's low rating, he does a special occult themed episode of Halloween. Yeah.
On Halloween, yes.
Yeah, that sets that up. Special guests for the episode include self-proclaimed psychic and medium Christu, skeptic and former magician Carmichael Haig, parapsychologist and author June Ross Mitchell, and June's latest subject, 13-year-old Lily Diabo, remember that name, who is purportedly possessed by a demonic spirit.
Yeah.
Okay.
The only survivor of a cult.
Yes. She was great.
Yeah.
Her voice, it's not the typical kid thing. It's not the typical kid pitch, that they'll go for their high pitch. And she was dressed like almost Amish, the way she came out and curtsied. Yeah. And she didn't know what camera to look at. Yeah. And so there was a nice play at the evil look of the villain at the camera, smile. Yeah.
Really good. But she still had that innocence of not knowing where she was and what was happening.
During the broadcast, Christu experiences a premonition about someone named Minnie. Well, there's a bit before that. There's a bit before Minnie.
Well, he does that whole cold reading thing and the bit where they've asked questions of people before the show.
Yeah, of course, as these charlatans do. They're the psychics. They read in the audience. Is there someone there? Bethany, Mildred, all the names that he ran through until he got to what was his name?
Peterson.
Yeah, Peterson. Was his name Barry? Yeah, it has been for 42 years. That whole little, you know what I mean? That was very 70s humor.
Yeah.
Oh, my wife left me, 12 years ago. Don't worry about it. My golf game's never been good, better.
Yeah.
Waka, waka, waka. Yeah. Take my wife, please. Because this
Please.
is
Yeah.
still going from Johnny Carson, which is still the remnants of Ed Sullivan. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. From the 50s. Yeah. 70s is, yeah, another world ago now. Absolutely.
It really
Absolutely.
is.
Yeah. Okay. During the broadcast, Christou experiences a premonition about someone named Minnie, which Jack later reveals. He keeps it hushed at first.
Yeah.
That was his private nickname for his now dead wife, Madeline. He does talk to a daughter and mother about the son who took their own life, but that, of course, was from the questions from the surveys, which Carmichael Haig was able to determine when he was questioning them because he's the skeptic. He's there to
Yeah.
disprove the psychic Christou and all psychics in gen. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And of course, yeah, he's a showman, Christou, to put it nicely. They were around a lot. I don't know so much nowadays. You've got to be an ultra celebrity to pull it off, but yeah, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's him
Uh,
there.
yeah, yeah,
The
yeah,
sci-
yeah.
the skeptic.
That's Haig. Nicely done. Nicely done. Okay. Yeah, but Christou becomes sick, really sick, violently sick, so much that he
Yeah.
projects a black liquid, a black viscous liquid, if
Yeah.
you've been to Eva Corp and seen me, and is rushed to the hospital. Yeah. Um, what did you think of the effects in
Uh,
general, without spoiling, please?
so there's a through line in the film with the backstage people and his offsider, where they keep talking about these bits that they're going to be doing later in the show. So I was expecting that there would be some sort of thing where it would be revealed that it was all backstage special effects. So I wasn't
Okay.
surprised to see
Okay.
the goo and a couple of things. It's like, okay, yeah, that looks like they've arranged that ahead of time.
Makes
There's going
sense.
to be this will come back to us later.
And when that wasn't so much the case, how did you feel?
I felt like I'd been lied to,
Ooh,
which is great.
ooh. Okay, let's save that. Let's save that for later. Yeah, the rest of
Yeah,
that for later when we come to our rating at the end, I think.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Cool. Nice
Um,
sizzle. Nice sizzle.
but yeah, they kept lampshading these bits they were going to do. So I kept expecting what I was seeing to be bits,
Hmm.
and then things weren't bits.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, yeah. I liked it too. I liked that
Yeah.
too. Okay, now he's rushed to the hospital. Out of here, the psychic Christou. In the next segment, Jane introduces Lily, now the sole survivor of a mass suicide by a satanic church and its leader, Sansdor Diabo, that worshipped Abraxas. Now, while I just give the framing, the pop cultural reference, framing reference for this, could you look up what Google just says? What is Abraxas?
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
just for the general thing. Yeah. All right. So Sansdor Diabo, whatever, is Anton LaVey from the Satanic Church in the 1960s, pure and simple.
More
Yeah.
or less.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, Anton LaVey, not a perfect human being, but he didn't sacrifice people. Nah, they didn't do that. And
No.
certainly didn't fuck with children in any way. That was one of the rules. That's one of the 9 principles, the Satanic principles
Yeah.
that says, yeah, do not harm the innocent, yeah, the vulnerable, yeah. Was he a bit of a manipulator just to get, lots of girls into revealing clothing and have just basically edgelord rituals? Absolutely. Yeah. But no, he wasn't as bad as this guy as portrayed. But again, this is all of this is heightened for effect. We're still watching, a horror film, and
And
the way
very,
that it's doing it is it does also highlight the way that the media portrays this sort of thing in a very sensationalized fashion. But sorry, after you.
I was going to say, but very, very much deeply into the satanic panic of the whole thing.
Yeah, thank you, absolutely. Yeah, to take it back. Yeah, to take it back. Definitely, this is how anyone who listened to heavy metal or played D&D was portrayed, even if they were kids. But yeah, I'm
Yeah.
talking 5 to 10 years old, possessed by the devil.
Yeah.
And yeah, and it's also manipulating the actual deaths of people who did commit suicide because there's so much more going on. Yeah, than worrying about the new Judas Priest album or do I have a
Yeah.
cool enough D20, yeah, going on in their
Yeah.
lives. And to belittle it in such a way at the same time as attacking whole cultures, whole, segments of society. Yeah. It's a contention to this day for people of a certain age. Absolutely. And to
Correct.
see it happening again with building up to what we have now with QAnon, etc., and to now what we have, it's despairing. It's
Yeah, it
despairing,
really is.
pure and simple. Yeah. So movies like this need to exist because horror is really good at looking at these things in a very metaphorical fashion, but
Yeah.
but but not always, not always. Of course, that's just what I prefer. But always, horror is always looking at society and critiquing it in its own way. And I think
Yeah.
that's why they're always popular. Big part of the reason they're always popular at times of crisis. That's why I said we're going to see a lot more horror films coming. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. But back to the late 70s. Now, Jack convinces her, Lily, once they've convinced June, yeah, who is the parapsychologist, and at this stage, June's carer and friend.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that whole relationship is interesting. Yeah, how much are Lily and Mr. Wriggles in cahoots with each other? Is it just a kind of vying for power by like a hold, control? Does June know what's happening the whole time? You see, these questions came up to me when watching
Yeah.
it. There's a mystery to this film, so I don't have this answer, but this film still contains its mystery, even
Yeah.
though it gives you all the information. Does that make
Yeah.
sense? Yeah,
It gives you the information, but it doesn't necessarily give you all of the information. So like
yeah,
you've still got questions at the end, but it does give you a lot of
yeah,
info on the way through.
yeah. But at the right times, and I think the ending is just wackadoo enough to
Yeah.
still create that ambiguity, or to get there at the end. That we'll get there,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, to the end at the end.
Now you wanted me
Okay,
to
did
look
you
up Abraxas.
Brexit? Thank you.
So Abraxas is a word of mystic meaning in the system of the Gnostic Basilades, being there applied to the great archon and the princeps of the 365 spheres. The word is found in Gnostic texts such as the Holy Book of the Great Invisible Spirit, also appears in the Greek magical papyri, and it was engraved on certain antique gemstones called, on that account, Abraxas stones, which were used as amulets and charms. So people say that the seven letters represent the seven classic planets. They refer to, and in the film they say it is the root for abracadabra.
Yeah.
There are other explanations.
That's the
And
route that they're using for this. Yeah,
yes.
because he's a
Uh,
conjurer, a showman,
yeah.
TV
Yeah,
show.
yeah, yeah.
Da, da, da.
So yeah, there are similarities, there are differences. There's lots of stuff about Abraxas across the culture verse. So I think in this, I think we're going to narrow it down to sort of magic and demons and abracadabra.
A big bad one, a big bad
Yeah.
example. Yeah, yeah,
Yes.
yeah, yeah. Cool, cool. Um, and it generally keeps it together in terms of what's happening on the screen and in relation to what they're referencing. It generally
Yep.
keeps it together. Generally,
Yeah.
generally. But doesn't really matter though either. Yeah, things get a bit loose, a little bit funky. That's kind of the fun of this film. Yeah. Okay. Now, Jack wants Lily to conjure Mr. Wriggles. Was Mr. Wriggles separate to Abraxas, or was it the same thing?
Yeah. Yeah, I think he
Separate?
asks, "Is this Abraxas?" In the movie, he asks her, "Is this Abraxas?" She says, "No, it's
Mhm.
Mr. Wriggles."
Jack did the deal with Abraxas. Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. That's how I read it. That's how I read it. Yeah. Okay, cool. But during a commercial break, that's when it turns to widescreen and black and white.
Yep.
The crew informs Jack that Christo has died from the crew. It's the showrunner. The showrunner
Yeah.
informs Jack that Christo has died. No, it's Gus. Sorry, was it Gus?
No, it's the showrunner, then Gus.
Yeah, thank you. That Christo has died from hemorrhaging in the ambulance. He vomited himself to death from every orifice. The black, yeah, violent goo. Okay. Jack is more worried about that other people know that
Yeah.
because it will stop the show rather than the health of Christo. This is one little, yeah, the different side of Jack that comes through. During June's conjuring, Lily becomes possessed. Yeah, June leads her through the hypnotism to get to the conjuring stage, the incantation, if you will. Lily becomes possessed and levitates in her chair. Before we get there, what did you think of the becoming, the conjuring of Mr. Wriggles?
I liked the subtle makeup. I liked the change in the performance of Ingrid, who plays Lily, and the soundscape and the lighting changed really subtly, which was beautifully done.
Yeah, absolutely. And on that, that's where there were moments where Abraxas was coming through. That's when the distortion of the videotape was at certain particular times. And when Lily first appears, she's doing the curtsy. There's a couple of distorted, cut across screen moments. Yeah. And they build on that the whole way through up. I really liked that. Really liked that. Being someone who used to mess with VHS tape a lot back in the day. Yeah. Really like it. Okay. And the voice was really good. And again, the performance of, let's get her name in my head. Sorry, just looking at it, coming to Ingrid Torelli. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I've got the right pronunciation there.
Oh, Lily, yes. Yeah.
Superb work. Absolutely superb work. Okay, she starts levitating. The demon notes having previously met Jack under the tall trees. Yeah, and there's been a couple of moments that Lily has ventriloquized Minnie, Jack's dead wife. Yeah, which are really creepy and really nice. And only, I just picked this up, only Jack notices.
Yeah.
And that's a little foreshadowing for the very, very end.
Well, I think someone says to him, "Oh, don't be stupid," or something like that. Is basically like, that you're hearing things that aren't there. But no, you definitely hear her voice change.
Yeah. And there's been other little exterior build up to this with the production crew running around, with the headpieces and coming from the desk. No, we're not hearing anything down here. There's no disturbances. There's little moments, like that running around. Black guy with the headpiece. Do you recognize him? We've covered him on the show.
So there's an actor called Christopher Kirkby.
Yeah, he's been in the show. He's been sorry.
He was in Daybreakers. He was in a movie called Iron Sky.
Something that we've covered really recently, like really recently.
Daybreakers.
No. More recent than that.
Oh. What else was he in that we've done?
Do you remember Upgrade in the toilet and on the face? Yeah. It's very pleased to see that. Very pleased to see that. Yeah. He pulls off his role. He's actually, because it's very small, he's got one line then. It's just basically what you would expect, general running of the show dialogue, but he does capture the scene, captures the shot, captures the shots.
That's really good.
Yeah. And he seems to like to work in Australia, on Australian productions. Yeah, so shout out to you.
I think he was also in The Matrix.
Yes, he was. And what, 2 and 3?
Yeah.
Forget the names, but yeah. All right. See what now.
He was in Neighbours.
No shit, he's Australian as fuck then.
He was in The Late Show. He was in Ocean Girl, Flipper.
Was he born here?
Must have been.
Must have been.
Beastmaster, Queen of the Damned,
What?
Crackerjack.
Oh, give us his name of it again. Yeah, for the children, Baron. Let's
His
properly
name
shout this
is
guy out. This is an under.
Christopher Kirby or Chris Kirby, depending on the
Yeah,
production.
yeah, Chris.
NCIS Sydney, Late Night with the Devil, Miss Fisher's Modern Murder Mysteries,
He's an
Preacher. I think
undiscovered.
he did Preacher.
He's a preacher. He's an undiscovered Australian gem.
Wolf Creek,
There you go. Who was he in
TV
Wolf
series.
Creek? A
TV
TV
series on
series.
the
Ah, okay, it's been a while. It's been a while. Yeah,
three
only seen it
episodes. He
once.
plays a character called Bruce Walker.
But shout out to you. Shout out to you, Chris
Yeah.
Kirby. Christopher, let's be respectful. Okay. Now, yeah, and I liked all the makeup as well. Yeah, yeah. And the sound design with the crunching of the shoulders and the classic physical distortions coming in. Yeah. Very
Yeah.
cool.
The
Very cool.
sound did a really good job with that because she sounded alien and demonic. Like her movements, yeah, it was all nicely
Mhm,
done.
mhm. And I liked how they started because, they're really beginning to ramp up the whole distortion between fact and fiction. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, and so they're starting to layer form and content here with like the theremin. You know how Gus is really
Yeah.
pleased about his theremin at the start, and the
Yeah.
first touch of demonic infestation is through the theremin when it's doing the
Yeah.
feedback. Yeah, and that becomes part of the score around this point. Yeah, did you notice that? Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's things like that why it's a big part of the reason why I really like this film because they really know film. Again, these two Australian brothers, Australian siblings. It's berserk. This whole podcast, this whole year is about largely been about discovering cool Australian sibling filmmakers that I really didn't know about before.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's brilliant. It's brilliant. Okay, so she's levitating. Mr. Wriggles notes having previously met Jack under the tall trees. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a Californian redwoods on the way to Bohemian Grove,
Yeah.
revealing that Jack and June are romantically involved. Well, she says that June finds Jack extremely handsome. That's what Lily said at the start.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
then Mr. Wriggles just starts basically singing a song. No, 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 they're fucking. They
Yeah.
be fucking. And
Yeah.
it's kind of obvious, certainly on repeat watch. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And hasn't been that long after his wife's death. Jack's not the greatest. Jack's not the greatest.
Yeah. He's not a
Um,
nice guy.
no. Well, is he? Hmm.
He might be a good guy, but he's not a nice guy.
Mhm. Um, he's a weak man. It's definitely a weak man. Yeah,
Yep.
I'll say that at this point. Yeah. Okay. Lily's position then subsides, and the show continues. There's nothing else really of note of that. There's some Latin chanting with an amulet.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's
Um,
nothing. I don't. Yeah. Hmm?
the other thing that you might want to mention, so the Carmichael character is probably based on a noted ex-magician
Yeah.
skeptic of the time called James Rand, oh, the Great Randy.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, he is. Yeah. Um, and Andy Richter, if you want Gus. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, Carmichael challenges June. Yeah, it's just this is unconscionable. Can easily reveal this, smoke and mirrors to the audience, and
Yeah, I
that's
will show you
very
exactly how it's done.
it's very interesting how he does it. But we'll get there.
Yeah.
Now he subjects Jack's psychic Gus to a hypnotism demonstration, which causes nearly everyone in the studio, nearly everyone, now to
Yeah.
see worms pouring out of him. But it's
Yeah.
horrific. It's Hellraiser level of
Really
just
nice
nightmare
effect.
disgust. Yeah,
Yeah,
it
really
was,
nice. The
especially the
only
first one he pulled out of his neck and just
Yeah,
left
that
there.
was really good.
That's
My
disgusting.
only quibble with the whole effect was the giant worm looked
Please
like a puppet.
look like a sphincter. Did you say?
Well, looked like a puppet. It did also look like a sphincter, but yes, no, it looked like a puppet.
Sure, fair, fair. Okay. All right. Now at the and I'll save that to the end. I'll save that to the end because of the effects at the end in that part. Because I heard a decent justification for that.
Oh yeah, sure.
I'm not sure if I agree yet, though, because I haven't rated this in my head. Let's not spoil anything, but I haven't rated this in my
Sure.
head yet because I wanted to discuss it first. Because,
Hang
there's
on
a
a
lot of
second.
brilliant things, but there were a few kind of, was that a choice or not? Was that a choice or a mishap? You good?
My
Okay.
lights just turned off. Let's try that. That's better.
I thought you might be getting experimental over there.
No.
Okay. Now, yes, so yeah, the worms come out of them. And then he does this Paul Muad'Dib Dune moment, the
Yeah.
dreamer awake. And yeah, Gus comes too. And I also liked how, with the watch, how it switched to the classic black and white spiral.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I liked how there was the ding, whatever happened there. And then Gus
Yeah.
didn't realize he was hypnotized, nor did the rest of the audience. Yeah.
Yeah.
There was
Yeah.
that little preamble. I enjoyed that. It was done well. But yeah, he wakes up, and when the production team rewinds the footage, because Jack is the only one freaking out at this time, and Lily is laughing. Lily or or Mr. Wriggles is
Mr.
laughing
Ringle.
and asking why Gus is behaving so silly. Okay, now when the production team rewinds the footage of what just happened to, so there's no more doubt. It proves that the demonstration was merely a joint hallucination experienced by nearly everyone in the studio. The playback, it's much more what you expect to see on TV, and he's just batting himself. The worms are got away. Certainly not as deep or as hypnotic, or we didn't see what we saw before to any degree. It's much more based in reality. And it proves that the demonstration was merely a joint hallucination experienced by nearly everyone in the studio. However, the supernatural phenomena that occurred during June's conjuring is unaltered in the recorded playback. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Because we're not far off the end here. This isn't a long
Yeah.
film. This is what
We're deep into the third act at this
yeah,
point.
yeah. Yeah, there's nothing that Wikipedia or we have missed. Yeah, cool.
We're good.
Jack is horrified when he notices. Okay, he does a Blade Runner. He stops for a Blade Runner call out homage.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he wants to see what's in the tape distortion. Yeah, because that's been going on throughout, as I've been describing in a stylistic way. But this is also what VHS does for those who have never seen it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he now on the actual frame of the playback, you see her face superimposed onto June's. Uh, or was that going to be the choice? I'm not quite sure. Sorry, but anyway, what we see in full detail is the ghost of Minnie in full body detail
Yeah.
standing next to Jack's. Yeah, with her hand on his shoulder. Okay. I preferred, whether it was seen or not, her face superimposed. Yeah, it's far more
Yeah.
ghostly, it's far more demonic, it's far more classic.
I agree.
Yeah. See, there's moments like that that can't make this a 5. Spoiler. Yeah, but there's just, certain choices. Overall, beautifully weaved, but certain choices. There's a few knots. Okay. Jack is horrified when he notices Madeline's ghost standing behind him, and the footage, of course, by Carmichael accuses him of orchestrating the entire thing, the entire string of events. Lily becomes
Yeah.
possessed again. Her head splits open and begins to glow like lava. Okay, so here we go. Now we can talk about sphincter worm and the kind of what the fuck has happened with the effects here, because they've gone way more B grade kind of exploitation student film trauma almost with the head splitting open effect here, in my opinion, anyway. Baron, what do you
Yeah,
think?
I would agree.
Now, shout out Cody Leach. Check him out on YouTube if you haven't already. Great horror movie YouTuber. He suggested that this was intentional because it's harkening back to the time that in which this was set and the effects that were prominent, the level of production values that were achievable at the time, What say you, Baron? Do you agree?
I agree. I agree 100%. There's no way with the effects at the time they would have been able to achieve that.
Mhm. And
Especially the ghost. Especially the ghost.
yes, and the well considered and at times very subtle layering of the supernatural to the reality, to the TV show, all of those layers, it's been well built up and it has been reasonably subtle. To then suddenly go, yeah, we'll just throw this in. This looks good, or can't be bothered. They'll accept it anyway. It's not one of those situations, yeah, because it there has been in terms of the form of this, the look of this old school 1970s going back there, yeah, and there's been
Yeah.
with the Bohemian Grove and referencing all that, they're trying to place us back then. This is the
Yeah.
type of effects we'd expect to see.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. At this moment in a demonic, yeah, not just it's infected the real world, it's possessed the real world. You know, it's come into reality. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I think so. I'll get there at the end, but I think I like that because it is a shock, though. You would agree it's a jolt compared to what we've
Yes.
seen when we get to this point. Okay, she brutally kills Gus, absolutely. June and Carmichael. The kill scenes are all great for these three characters.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Hanging by the necklace and then the
Mm-hmm.
cut into the neck.
The
Really well
garroting,
done.
yeah, whilst
Yeah.
hanging, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, June and Carmichael and Jack is sorry, blah, and Jack is suddenly transported to a nightmarish version of the show.
Yeah. I
Yes.
think they were giving us hints of monstrous, like, okay, so in the original part of the
Hold on,
film.
one sec, Baron. Just
Yep.
before then, Wikipedia missed it out. Lily Abraxas, Mr. Wriggles, sorry, in its true form, yeah, looks directly at the camera, and then the camera smashes into the demon's face, all becomes static screen.
Yeah.
Station difficulties will be right back, old
Yeah. Yeah.
school, style, font, etc.
Yeah.
for this. Yeah,
Yeah.
go ahead.
Well, at the start, because it's a Halloween show, people have been encouraged in the audience to get dressed up in their Halloween costumes.
Mm-hmm.
There's a
Mm-hmm.
really nice bit of background character work from the guy in the skull mask. I thought that was really good.
Yeah, he was good. And yeah, remember when he goes, did anyone else see the worms? Jack says this, and he goes, one, two, okay, two other people, Skull Guy and someone else who's part of this Bohemian Grove business. Yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah.
This Abraxas advocate,
Um, yeah,
whatever
but
it
then when
is.
we get to the weird world where it's the cracked version of the show after the
Mhm.
experiencing difficulty sign comes up, you don't get to see the audience, but they feel much more monstrous in the darkness.
Yeah, yeah, they do. Yeah, they do. And yeah, that dimmed lighting, which was done for the hypnotism and possession scenes before, is now shifted to the audience as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
What do we think of this end? Does it okay? Oh, let's just read out what Wikipedia says and let's just discuss the end in detail. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Or freely. Now, he relives moments in the show's past before it is revealed that he indeed had a connection to the demon possessing Lily, Mr. Wriggles. He encountered it during a ceremony at the Grove, where he made a with, pact with the devil by sacrificing the soul of his wife in exchange for fame and the TV success of Night Owls. At Bohemian Grove, what was shown by Alex Jones, he broke in there and took footage. That's the famous footage on YouTube. If you
Yep.
don't know who Alex Jones is, look it up. I'm not going into it. Yeah, the head, whatever, of this grove, of this congregation, the high priest, whatever, he was wearing an owl's head, always has done, as does the head, whatever, is shown in this Bohemian Grove, hallucination here of the congregation. And
Yep.
also, Drake's symbol was an owl. Anyway, moving on. uh, da, 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 da. And so the show's called Night Owls. That's why, yeah, it's called Night Owls. Yeah.
Yep.
Thus, he was indirectly responsible for Madeline's cancer. Never smoked, no
Yep.
shit. Madeline's ghost begs Jack to put her out of her misery. Now, I liked, yes, after drinking the blood to take the pact from the congregation, the owl there, you see Diabo, they're doing the weird, they're meant to be, yeah, owl noises. I don't know, but that weird, old white men spooky shit they do together.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
then, and they're in this one beautiful mansion, and the doors open and grandly, and there's Madeline sick, lying in bed. Yeah, I really liked that opening, that reveal. And
Good.
she demands that he kill her because he put her in this plight, in this
Yep.
pain, and it's up to her with the sacrificial dagger, which was one of June's, part of her, one of her, her accoutrements, her relics, her showcases, showpieces of her work, of her travels that were shown on the show from before. And Jack is
Yeah.
clutching at certain points in the film. And now he has to kill the ghost of his dead wife with it. Yes, he has to, physically feel the pain of that memory. Yeah, or the pain he caused someone else. So this ending, the more I watched it, the more it made sense to me. Yeah, that is just
Yeah.
not all shit thrown at the wall. Yeah,
Yeah.
which is a big critique out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's people that don't
Now,
understand what the story's been doing that would say this is just shit thrown at a wall.
say that again. Sorry, Baron.
So people that weren't paying attention
Yeah.
throughout the film will
Yeah.
not get the ending because, like, okay, people, children, I'm going to look right at the camera. I'm going to say this. When you're watching this film, don't be on your phone. I know you're going to be tempted to be on your phone, but don't be on your phone. You will miss stuff, and the ending will seem weirder than it should.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if you
Absolutely.
have to, stop the film. If you need to get up and get a drink or go to the toilet or whatever, don't just let it play because you will miss something that means later in the film you won't get something.
Mhm.
Rant over.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll add to that as well. And there's nothing wrong with watching a film twice. I even
Yep.
recommend, because
Yeah.
it's easy to be distracted. We all are. We know why. And so the first viewing, get your popcorn, get your snacks. If you get high, watch it, and then on the second time, go back and watch it properly, closely, in the middle of the day when you're less tired at night, that sort of thing. And that's where you pick up all that you've missed. You pick up Easter eggs, and that's
Yeah.
when film watching becomes fun as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
I agree.
everyone who makes films watches lots of films. Whenever you go to film
Yeah.
school, that's the first thing they say. They ask you, what have you watched recently? Yeah. Go away and watch more things. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
I've just discovered a link between this podcast and this film, other than David Dismalchin sending me a card.
Please.
I
Please.
was in a production with June, the Laura Gordon who played June Ross Mitchell.
Mm.
So she played Linda Kozlowski in the Hogs miniseries. I played this much of a man for 3 seconds in a fight scene from earlier in the production.
There you go. Claim it. Claim it.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
was shot in Adelaide. This is ours. Claim it, Barry. Okay, almost there, almost there. No, it's using the ritual Athame dagger from Lily's
Mhm.
former satanic cult, and that's Diabo's. He then stabs her to death, and the scene
Yeah,
suddenly shifts to the now empty studio. A horrified Jack realizes he has stabbed Lily on live television.
yep,
All of the phantasmagoria, all the film tricks, all the TV tricks, I should say, all of that,
yep.
it's all gone.
All
All of the
done.
confusion, the blurring of fact and fiction, of reality, of hallucination, possession, all gone. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can see that the saturated colors and all that have gone. No more distortion, no more VHS distortion.
And it goes
Here's
to
Stab,
widescreen.
and it does. Thank
I
you.
think this is our first color widescreen shot.
Brilliant. Okay. It's reality, certainly presented as such.
Yeah.
And Lily's dead next to her with a dagger in her chest.
Yep.
He stands over the bodies of his dead guests, and he repeats in a kind of shocked litany, the dreamer awake, the dreamer awake. That is the precise wording, yeah? The dreamer awake. Yeah. Yeah, I like that. It's chilling. It's chilling. Police sirens are heard in the distance.
Yeah.
End of
Same as
transmission.
earlier.
Hold on. Sorry,
Same as earlier when you could hear the ambulance, when you could hear the ambulance in the distance when he was backstage, when they were taking away Christu.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Cool, cool, cool.
Hear the
Yeah,
ambulance.
that's intentional. That's intentional. And then it goes to black, like the VHS tape has run out. It's even got the sound bits on the side. End of transmission. So it is done.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And if you don't know, that's just the end of ritual. Yes, the demon has won.
Yeah.
Is what that means.
Yeah.
What did you think of the ending?
I really liked it. It really put a cap on the film
Mhm.
for
Yeah.
me. Like they could have wimped out and had a happy ending. They could have gone too hard and had everybody dead. But I think
Mhm.
they got that lovely balance with most people dead and destroying the life of Jack.
Totally, utterly destroying the life of Jack. This is a classic tale, old as time itself. Yes,
Poe
doing
could have.
signing a pact with the devil. Yeah, and you always pay. It's three times classically. I don't know if that was demonstrated in the film. I'd have to watch that with that in mind. Yeah. Uh, yeah. What do you reckon?
No, see, it's only really two. It's well,
The
no,
wife
wife,
show.
girlfriend,
Yeah. Okay.
wife,
Okay.
girlfriend, career.
There you go. There you go. There you go. Yeah, you pay threefold. And he certainly has. And for not much in the end either. He never became number one. He never bet Johnny
No,
Carson. No.
no.
He didn't even get that. Abraxas is an asshole. We like to point out the asshole villains and
Yeah,
eagles. Are they an actual asshole or not? Abraxas certainly is. So
yeah.
that begs the question, is Jack a bad man, a bad human being?
He's not great.
It's not great. He's weak. Weakness
Yeah,
is his greatest folly.
yeah,
Um, I get it. Again, this is to tell old as time itself, but certainly relevant in the 1970s and now. We live in the celebrity age. Fame still calls and bites. Yeah. However you
yeah.
look at it. Definitely. Um, I mean, God, look at the election we just had. Yeah. I was Schwarzenegger came out, yeah, to try and
Yeah,
help. That even
yeah,
failed. Not even
yeah.
Arnie could save the
No,
day.
not even the Terminator.
Um, yeah, so he certainly pays. He certainly pays. He pays hard. And the ending, I think, really, yeah, with all that they did, with all of the dialogue, with all the different styles,
Yeah,
yeah, and also Des Melchian, yeah, showing us someone who's wildly charismatic, as all of these late night
oh
shows
yeah,
are. That's how they get the job. But
yeah,
then also revealing very naturalistic moments, naturalistic ways that no piece of shit, but still feeling for him at the end. You're a
yeah,
fine actor, Des Melchian. You are in my pantheon already.
yeah,
Already, yeah. I like this guy. I want to see more of him, and I want to see our Cairnes brothers make more. Yeah,
yeah. I agree.
yeah, this is a successful independent horror film. Absolutely.
Yep.
Keep it up. Keep it up. Give them more money. Give them more money and sign both of us. Cast both of us. Yeah. 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 Brothers, look at us. Look at us.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. What do we rate this at all said and told?
I'm going to give it a four.
Mhm. Yeah.
If you'd asked me when I came out of the cinema, I probably would have given it a 3.5, a 3 or 3.5. I think a second watch increased my approval of the film. But like you say, I've picked more up in the background.
Yeah. You do.
Uh,
You do.
and honestly, I know I said it before. I've probably said it twice now in this podcast. I think it's better on a TV screen than it was on the cinema.
Yeah, which is cool, which is not to his detriment. No, that's not
No,
derogatory or anything like that. No, no.
no.
That's intentional. I think that's, yeah,
Yeah,
to its credit. Yeah, and everything that we've discussed in terms of form, style, and performance, certainly to its credit. Um, it's not seamless. There were a few choices which I wasn't 100% happy with, which is why this can't go into 4.55
Sure.
territory.
Yeah.
But all of the things I just mentioned definitely give it a strong four, a well-deserved four, and want to
Yep.
see more. It's a great film to watch at Halloween. If
Yep.
you're a fan of things like Ghost Watch, definitely watch this because they
Yeah.
are. They're definitely a fan
Yeah.
of Ghost Watch. And yeah, old school. If you're a fan of the 70s style, yeah, definitely 70s horror, absolutely. But if you're a fan of new stuff, there's enough going along. Visually, certainly on which we mentioned, focused watches and repeat watches. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's one of those films, definitely, which IFC, Neon, A24, of course, have helped create really cool, made way for really cool films to not only be seen, be realized,
Yeah.
make money, and just build up, a great little horror industry we've got going here of really cool, independent, low budget in comparison to things, yeah, productions, like Terrorizer 3.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Terrifying.
so what do I say? Terrorizer, sorry. I'm tired. Terrifier 3. Biggest unrated horror film of all time. Or no, unrated film of all time.
Yeah.
Reached over 50 million. Keep it up.
Yeah.
Yeah. What else do you want to cover, Barrett? That's Late Night with the Devil. Go
That's like
watch it
the
again.
devil. I'll probably see it again, and that's right at the feet of David Dismalchin because he's
Yes.
incredible in that.
Yes.
What else have I been
Late
watching?
Night with the Devil.
I watched a
Yeah.
little
What have
film
you watched,
Nick
please?
Frost called Crazy House.
Yeah, your horror
Um,
stuff. That's horror adjacent
yeah, not
enough.
a million miles
Absolutely.
away from this because it's basically a sitcom filmed in front of a live studio audience that goes very, very badly wrong, and you're never quite sure what's part of the real world and what's part of the show. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Nick Frost probably at his highest weight, and he did say in a podcast interview that he saw himself on screen and decided to lose weight, and he's done a bunch of that. Like he's come down, I think, like nearly 100 pounds or something, which is amazing.
Fantastic. Cool. Good to hear.
He
Keep it
was
up.
very nearly spherical in Crazy House. Um, but yeah, really good. He was in it.
Okay,
Alicia
cool.
Silverstone's great. It's filmed in the
Ah,
Netherlands, and he's done another film over there
nice.
called Getaway, which is a
Yeah,
lovely
yeah,
family goes on holidays to this weird cultish island in the Netherlands.
yeah. I've heard
Which
about that one. That one's meant to be cool as well. Yeah.
what else? I'm really
Um.
enjoying Cup, and Teacup's been held open. The ending certainly holds it open for a second season.
Okay. Fantastic. Need to get on that myself. Myself and the Bat went and saw Smile 2 at El
Oh,
Dorado Cinema
yep,
in Indrapilli. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay. There will be a train station reaction. We weren't going to the toilet together for obvious reasons to do a restroom reaction.
yeah,
Yeah, but that will be coming out tomorrow. I'll drop that tomorrow, and I'll think about whether or not I will do a audio only because I love Smile, the original. So did Bat. We
yeah,
need to rewatch because Smile 2 is good. Don't get me wrong. I'm not going to say it's great because it's very different. It's not my style of horror. It's flipped into a different style of horror entirely. Yeah, because they really want to make the Smile a franchise.
yeah,
So
sure.
they're really
See that.
focusing on that gimmick with the whole is this real or not driving narrative premise.
Yep.
That's a prominent, if not the prominent feature of the film to push this smile gimmick. Not that that's a
Yeah.
bad thing. It's still a very fun watch, but it's not what I got from Smile at all.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's up to you whether that's your thing or not, basically at the end of the day, because a lot of people like Smile 2 a lot more. And if that's your type of horror, I get it. Yeah. Yeah. And Penguin.
Yeah, it's really good.
Ah, Barrett, are you up to date?
I haven't seen this week's yet, but yeah, I'm that's the only one I'm behind on.
Episode 7, how they set up the finale. It's only 8 episodes, limited
Yeah.
series. God, it's good.
Oh, yeah. Then I've only got the finale to go then.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, so you've seen Seven or not?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, 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 yeah. It's so damn good the way they've set it up to the finale. Matt Reeves, of course, he's mulling it over where this is going to go next after the
Yeah.
huge success of this, well deserved. Just if you like, just quality production
Yeah.
and all that it entails. This has nothing to do with horror. This has nothing to do with Gotham, Batman, anything. This is
Uh,
just fine work. It's fine art.
it's it's The Sopranos. It's The
Yeah,
Sopranos setting.
it is, isn't it? I know that's
Yeah.
because that's a huge call. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, as a practitioner and fan of all of this, but I'm going to make the call as well. Yeah. It's the new Sopranos.
Yeah. It
And
really is.
I can't wait for more Reeves Gotham, whatever now, because of it, because I have full
Yeah.
trust. I have full trust. And what's her name? Sophia Gigante.
Sophia Falcone.
The performance is incredible.
Yeah.
She is really her. And yeah,
Yeah. Oh,
Colin
yeah.
Farrell are just carrying this
Yeah.
so beautifully. And the mother shout out as well, because she's wonderfully
Oh,
strong.
yeah.
Uh, and whoever plays Salvatore, what's his name? Because he's one of the most underrated, greatest character actors we've had for a very long time, that gentleman.
You mean the Kurgan from the Highlander films?
Yeah, Pet Cemetery. Yeah, I need to pull up a list, but you know what I mean.
Next,
That guy.
yeah.
Shawshank Redemption.
Clancy Brown is his name.
Yeah, thank you, thank you. That guy, if that guy doesn't get a lifetime achievement award,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Yes. He's incredible.
yeah, 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 absolutely. We need to do episodes that are looking at these character actors that are in a lot of these films that we will cover and have already covered here.
Yeah.
Just going through the filmography and just talking about it because we've all seen a lot of the stuff. We've all have a lot of, core memories to bring to the table because they're not given anywhere enough shine. They're not given anywhere enough shine.
Oh,
And people, I think, want to hear about that sort of stuff. Our audience, just like Psycho 2, was one of the
yeah.
most successful episodes. Yeah. Yeah.
Which makes sense.
It does
Oh,
make sense coming
the
from
the the
people like
the,
us. Yeah.
the Amityville house in the
Mhm.
shut up in the
Yeah.
still.
There it did.
Yeah.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, it did. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ed and Warren were too spooked to make an appearance.
Yeah.
It's like, no, they wouldn't. They would have jumped right on top of you. I
Oh,
think there was an actual character who did
yeah.
help Ed a lot, who was, I think he was similar to this chap as well. Yeah. Yeah, they had
Yeah.
no qualms about, yes,
No. I believe
working with
I believe
showmen.
I believe the term is they would go to the opening of an envelope.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And yeah, yeah, that's the thing that we could discuss at some point as well, because we've
Yeah.
done a lot of Conjuring stuff. Yeah, and there's
Mm.
more Conjuring coming. We'll save that until four's closer to coming
Yeah.
out. Yeah, because that is on its way. Because those movies still make money off
Yeah.
the machinations of Ed and Lorraine Warren.
Correct.
Yeah, the Ed and Lorraine Warren, the estate, etc. They still
Yeah.
they still make money off these movies. Yeah, because of their
Yeah.
initial dabblings, shall we say?
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so definitely watch Penguin.
Yep. I
The Chucky documentary is out on Shudder. I haven't
Book
watched
of
it yet,
Chuck.
but it's like 6 hours long, six
Yeah.
to ten hours long. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I'll definitely want to watch that. Um, okay, is there anything else out of this Smile 2 out at the moment? Is there anything else out horror wise at the moment that you know of, Baron?
Rippy. Rippy the bush
There we go.
kangaroo, otherwise known as
Wow.
Zombaroo or the Red, should be
Okay.
out.
We need to go
A
see that then, like
little bit of
ASAP,
sizzle. A little bit of sizzle. I'm doing the
please.
panel for them at Supernova this weekend, so
Fantastic.
I'll have a word to them about maybe coming on the
Yeah,
podcast.
that will be absolutely awesome. And I will drop that straight away, regardless of schedule, of course, to make sure that's out there. Yeah. Yeah, cool. Yeah, so that's a good segue into what you're doing this weekend.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, Supernova Brisbane this weekend, the 100th show. Uh,
Oh,
so
cool. Congrats.
So you know, should be good. I get to speak to uh, another alum of our podcast, David Wenham, who was in Necrotronic.
Cool. Is that our main
And
guy in Necrotronic or?
no, he was the uncle, the guy that ended up as the head in the box.
No, he's the best
Yeah.
because he was in
Um,
Wormwood.
yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
He's great.
and he was in uh, Scream Queen's favorite werewolf film, Van Helsing.
Was he really? Scream Queen, we will do that at some point. Absolutely, because that will
Yeah.
be a fun episode. That'll just be, a laugh. Yeah. Not to discredit, but yeah, come
No,
on.
I mean it's it's Universal monsters. It's Frankenstein. It's the werewolf.
Yeah.
It's Dracula.
Wolfman,
Yeah,
Lee Winnell.
yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
Nosferatu.
Yes. Nosferatu. I'm looking forward to this reboot, Universal Monsters.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Dark Universe. Could
Yep.
finally happen. Could finally happen in a decent form and fashion.
Yeah.
Yeah, so lots of good stuff coming up. We just did Martyrs, myself and Dorian, their Iceberg Children. Yeah, don't worry, that's not in the same category as Salo and Serbian. Yeah, it's a level above.
Yep.
And then we're doing a Cannibal Holocaust. I say that because then we're getting the classic, most infamous, most extreme movies of all time. They're always on this list. Then we go over to Asia for Tetsuo, Tokyo Gore Police, who actually gets a bit more fun. It's going to get a bit more fun soon. But we've got to
Sure.
get
Yeah.
through the turtle eating next.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
Otherwise, we've got Upgrade coming up next. This is the start of November that we're filming this, and Upgrade's on its way. Yeah, I think you'll enjoy that one. We certainly did.
yep.
Yeah. Yeah. Shout outs. Evil Corp. We've got Christmas coming up and we've got New Year's coming up. Yeah, two big events there. I think I'm going to
Yep.
be pulling out my Jeebus, my Monty Python Jeebus. Come along if you have no idea. You were there last year. Yeah, it's going to come
I
back, but
was, yes.
bigger and better. And
Nice.
New Year's, it's all about the vices. It's all about the vices is
Ah,
going to be celebrated for New Year's Eve, bands, etc. Keep an eye out. Skate Manor Blackout's over, but always open. Yes, certainly, Cabin 13, come along. Yeah, that's all the things that I generally do. Listen to us at Evil Popcorn Pod, because if I'm not doing that, I'm kind of doing this and I'm enjoying it. Yeah, getting a rhythm going. Baron, say something, please.
Look, I will always shout out Act React. I will always shout out Improv Queensland. We've got a couple of shows coming up for the end of the year. I'll be in the Iron Improviser on the 15th of December. We've got Supernova this weekend, Brisbane show, November, the 100th show. So there should be a bunch of stuff. It's a 3-day weekend
Sweet.
again.
Cool.
What else have we got? IFWG Publishing. Once that book is out, I'll make that known. We've got some sizzle coming for some merch, which will be seen shortly-ish.
Thank you for doing that. That's fucking
Yeah, it's all
awesome.
good.
Very happy being a merch monkey.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
What else? Supernova, Act React, Improv Queensland, IFWG. Uh, yeah, I think that's it. If you're a casting director, cast us in stuff.
Yeah, because there's cool stuff happening. There's Evil Dead musical. Shout out to Ghostlight Theatre.
Yes.
And who is Ash, one of our, yes, Evil Corp, one of us children.
Yeah.
And and there's another chickie who's doing a play zombie slay, play lab theatre. Um,
Okay.
yeah, indigenous chickies at the start of the zombie apocalypse, and TikTok's the only form of communication. Yeah, that's come.
Awesome.
That's been performed this week. It's going to be finished by the time it come out. So that's why I'm not looking up exact details. Shout out to you, Alinta, though, from the Actors Workshop, though, for putting that together and doing cool, fun horror stuff out there. Yeah,
Yeah.
because
Cool.
that's a good way to bring it out to the mainstream as well. Yeah.
Yes. One other thing. Act React Theatre is doing Ebenezer Boozed, which is a drunk retelling of
Okay,
Scrooge story, where two of the actors on the night will actually be drunk while they are performing. And the other
fantastic.
actors will drink throughout, but they will be legally drunk for the performance.
Is Gina Schwartz going to be one of them?
I'm not sure of the
Because
cast.
she's done stuff like that before.
Yeah. I think
Shout out
part
to you,
of the
Gina.
cast.
If you see her and stuff there, people of Brisbane, go see it because she's
She's very
great.
good. She's
Yeah,
very
she's
good.
great. Okay, yeah, that's cool. And that's going more into, yes, the Christ Mass season.
Yes.
Yeah, but there's lots of Christmas horror. It's a thing. We all know it's a
Yeah.
thing. I mean, goddamn Terrifier 3. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're going to do a callback, maybe a watch along, definitely. But yeah, I'm saving it for then. It will definitely be a part of the show around that time.
Yep.
But we have Nosferatu on Christmas Day.
Christmas Day.
Christmas Day that's being released. I've got to work it in there somehow. I've got to work it in there somehow. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Terrify and Nosferatu Christmas. I mean, 2024 horror.
Yeah.
It's
Incredible.
crazy. It's
Yeah.
been crazy. We're not done yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still more
Yeah.
to come.
People are going on about 2022 with Barbarian and such.
Yeah.
X
Old news.
fine, but this year's just like just hold my axe,
Yeah.
just hold my
Yeah.
axe. Thank you, really happy, really happy. And we will continue into the night. We will continue eating popcorn. Certainly, when you come to things like Late Night with the Devil, which is very delicious indeed. Yeah, and we'll see for whatever Scream Queen chooses next. We're back at the dungeon. All going well, of course.
Yeah. I agree. It's good.
The internet delay is wild.
Yes.
Yeah, that's okay, man.
So
That's okay.
shall we bring this to an end?
Mm. I think so.
Go to bed, children. Go to bed.
Or Mr. Wriggles is going to put a giant worm butt sphincter demon into your
Up
ear
it.
and destroy your television watching forever.
Oh, I love it when you're evil. This is me at my most evil. Do you even laugh?